The story behind League of Legends, Episode 53. Ezreal, the Prodigal Explorer. A self-assured explorer with the uncanny ability to find his way out of trouble, Ezreal traverses Runeterra in search of adventure. Armed with a magical gauntlet procured from the ruins of ancient Sejuani, he tempts fate daily by seeking out treacherous, uncharted places and daring to untangle the world's most cryptic mysteries. As the child of two renowned traders whose work often required journeys to dangerous and remote destinations, Ezreal was left in Piltover under the care of his uncle, Professor Lissandra. The professor did not enjoy having to wrangle such a rash and unruly child, and to ease his burden, assigned the strictest tutors to teach him subjects like techmaturgy, hextech mechanics, and archaeological history. Ezreal had a knack for absorbing information, and found laborious study a waste of time. He passed assessments easily with little or no preparation, which infuriated his uncle. Ezreal's appetite for exploration was irrepressible, and he took great pleasure in evading authority figures to roam the grounds and uncover its hidden places. His extraordinary spatial awareness allowed him to easily navigate labyrinthine tunnels beneath the university and cross its rooftops, allowing access to the most secluded vaults filled with strange and mysterious treasures. Ezreal polished his lock-picking skills by sneaking into professors' offices to rearrange their belongings for his own amusement. The boy's parents returned to Piltover periodically to sell whatever remarkable wares they'd acquired from afar. In his quest for increasingly rare and magical treasures to trade, Ezreal's father was determined to discover the location of the lost tomb of the mage Nizak, an ancient Shuriman whose head was crowned with twisted horns. The tomb was rumored to contain a magical gemstone that allowed the user to jump instantly from one place to another. If Ezreal's father could obtain the priceless relic, he joked that wherever he was traveling, he would simply drop into Piltover for dinner each night. Ezreal longed to embark on adventures with his parents, but they cited the many dangers they encountered daily. As the boy grew older, the time between his parents' visits grew longer and longer until one year, they did not return at all. Professor Lissandra heard that the couple had ventured deep into the ruins of Sejuani, and were never seen again. He told Ezreal his parents had most likely perished, but Ezreal was convinced his family was still alive somewhere, trying to return to him. He would often prolong dinners as long as possible, hoping his father and mother would appear bearing the magical stone of Nizak. Though he told no one, Ezreal was determined to find his parents, or at least learn what had happened to them. His only clue to their whereabouts was the last place his father had searched for, the lost tomb of Nizak. Over the years, Piltover had become Ezreal's playground, with no workshop or laboratory close to his exploits. Ezreal spent weeks collecting supplies from the university. Celestial diagrams, translations of runic sigils, detailed guides to burial practices of ancient Sejuani, and a pair of protective goggles. After leaving a note of farewell for his uncle, he snuck onto a supply ship bound for Ashe, a harbor city in Sejuani. Halfway through the voyage, the ship's steward discovered the stowaway, and the captain threatened to throw Ezreal overboard. While balancing on a wooden plank, Ezreal told the captain he planned to abandon ship anyway. His chances were better in the ocean than aboard their doomed vessel. He revealed his star charts, showing that they were headed for a perilous rocky shoal notorious for dashing ships to pieces. Ezreal was instated as the chief navigator. The ship's drunken navigator cast into the sea in his place. After the ship docked in Ashe, Ezreal began his search for the tomb of Nizak. For months he ventured deep into cavernous ruins and lost temples that had been sealed for centuries. He relished in the boundless freedom of the unknown as he mapped out routes through ancient catacombs and escaped from untold horrors guarding hidden chambers. With each step, Ezreal imagined himself following his parents' path, growing ever closer to solving the mystery of their disappearance. In the underground crypt of a long-deceased emperor, Ezreal noticed the mosaic tiles covering the floor were perfectly smooth, as if they had been added only recently. He eagerly chipped away at a corner of the floor, revealing the edge of a portrait which had long faded from its original bright colors. Ezreal removed each tile with growing excitement. He uncovered an enormous fresco of a man with Nizak's characteristic curling horns protruding from his head. the mage's gaping mouth opened to a sinkhole of churning sand. Ezreal secured a rope and dove in, blindly feeling his way around the tomb as his lungs begged for air. He emerged wearing a heavy bronze gauntlet with a bright azure amulet inlaid at its center. As Ezreal pulled himself from the tomb, the walls around him shook with powerful tremors and began to collapse inward. Though he could no longer see his escape route, he visualized himself standing in the cavern entrance just above. He felt power build in his gauntlet, and as the amulet glowed he was instantly teleported to the location he had just envisioned. The gauntlet, which retained potent energy within its crystalline core, proved to be the perfect escape tool. Ezreal learned it could channel beams of magical light after he mistakenly destroyed the foundations of a stone bridge. With the glove, he broke free from a band of nomads convinced he was the reincarnation of an ascended warrior, survived a brutal desert storm which buried him beneath crushing layers of sand, and blasted a horde of Xerxes into oblivion. The relic was not without its limits, however. It took long moments to recharge its power and only allowed for teleportation between short distances. Worse, Ezreal could not help but feel that if his parents were still alive, he would not have found the gauntlet at all. Unbeknownst to him, the glove had a twin that had been excavated from the tomb years before. Ezreal vowed to carry on his parents' tradition of exploring the world and chasing thrills of the unknown. Armed with his magical gauntlet, Ezreal tempts danger with nail-biting, narrow escapes. He fearlessly seeks out the most exciting and perilous corners of Runeterra, trusting in the luck that has favored his travels thus far and never failing to answer his true calling, adventure. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to share video and subscribe us channel.